Yeah, so I'm Sam Jones, and I lead up our sector for housing within the organisation. And a big part of my role is being a custodian to the solution to our customers in the housing sector and the development of those relationships. Ground control is embodied around being experts around environmental sustainability, and we're actually certified as carbon neutral now, which we're really proud of, and well on our journey to net zero. And we do work with housing providers across the UK to develop and manage their green spaces. Creating and maintaining green communities is at the centre of what we do as an organisation, and hopefully that shows through in the conversation today. I've only got 5 minutes, so I just want to start by reflecting on earlier this week, Tuesday. We were fortunate enough to have an address, albeit not in person, from the Housing Minister, and it was really encouraging to see some reiteration around the fact that enhancing green spaces and biodiversity being on the agenda will what does form some of the planning for the future reform, but also being considered through into the future home standards, which we still wait with bated breath to see. My fingers and toes are crossed to see how biodiversity plays out on COP26, which we'll see later this year. Because ultimately biodiversity is incredibly important. In the UK, 15% of species are currently threatened with extinction. That's just in the UK. Worldwide, that ratchets up to about 35%. And since 1970, 60% of priority species in the UK have been in decline. That's a big number. So ultimately, we really are at a turning point of opportunity within the UK for biodiversity gain and increasing recognition from the government and enhanced social awareness, as David pointed out, especially after what we've experienced through recognition of the quality and enjoyment from green spaces in a post-COVID era, both in urban and rural environments. So what are ground control doing about this? Lots is the honest answer, but I've only got a few minutes to say, so I'll focus on 3 key points, if that's okay. First and foremost is that we've been doing this for 50 years, and caring for UK green spaces is at the centre of what we do. We manage, maintain, work with customers on over 55,000 sites across the UK. That's right across the UK, which puts us in a really privileged position because we're we have the ability to shift our thought process and our customers' thought process on an ongoing basis about how they utilise their land and how we can all be better stewards for nature. And we continue to work closely with housing customers to identify projects to enhance communal spaces, promote biodiversity, and importantly, add social value. This will always remain at the core of what we do as an organisation, and welcome conversations around this, both with our fellow supply chain partners and customers. Secondly, through our Evergreen Fund, which is a commitment from our board down, that 5% of our net profits are utilised for sustainably focused capital ventures. We have set up very recently and invested in a near 300-acre site based in the heart of Essex, which is going to be used as an environmental recovery centre. And so utilising our expertise in carbon capture, biodiversity, and collaborating with impact venture partners, this £3 to £4 million investment from ground control will create a green space blueprint for green gains, biodiversity, and carbon capture for others to learn from and follow on from, and for us to share knowledge with. Personally, given my passion in this area, I really look forward to how this is going to progress over the next few months and years. Thirdly, and probably most importantly in my view, and certainly something that we have a lot of traction on recently, is the engagement in the housing sector through our existing customers. We held a summit earlier this year in July, but it was evidently clear from that summit that broadly the sector doesn't feel suitably equipped to map, measure, manage and enhance biodiversity in their estates, especially when you consider how diverse those existing estates, geographies and localised pressures that are imposed both on housing providers and builders. Yes, there are most definitely, and as we've heard from David at Orbit, pockets of great working practices going on across the UK and organisations, and that there are emerging metrics to help us quantify that. And I look forward to hearing more examples of that as the session progresses. But it is not always widely shared. So put simply, we need something to resolve this. Therefore, over the coming months, we as Ground Control and my colleagues will be looking to work with peers throughout the housing sector, industry bodies, scientific experts to launch the Green Spaces as an advisory board. The board will be a housing sector specific think tank that will develop recognised models to share examples of best practice for relating to green space management, green placemaking, carbon offsetting, and most importantly, biodiversity enhancement, with the aim of empowering the housing sector on the journey to net zero and a more biodiverse community in a post-COVID-19 era. I could go on about this for a very long time, but with only 5 minutes left, I'll say I'll park things there, look forward to our questions. But if anybody wants to come and talk about this in more detail, we're over just to the side there, stand B4, and welcome some more conversations. Thank you.